Hey guys, welcome to my basement, and I just wanted to go ahead and show off my seed starting station. So I know it looks complicated and everything right now, but believe me, it is so easy. You can definitely start one at home if you got a little bit of money, you got a little bit of time, and some know-how. It's easy to put up, and then once you have it up, you can use it for years to come with very, very low cost associated. So we bought our rack from Home Depot. I did look it up. It was about $90 for the rack itself. It has these nice movable shelves. And then my husband bought some LED light fixtures and the LED light tubes. There's two in each of here. He attached this, he wired it, and he had to put a new outlet box up top here for us to plug it into. So with that all being said, if you're wondering what the cost was, it cost us about $300 to put this in and get it going. But now, the LEDs take a very, very small amount of electricity, and there's really nothing else that I have to do other than just keep getting new plants in here. So it's really nice that we got it established this year to start things inside so that we can move them outside to our garden. One really, really great thing, I would say the number one best thing about having your own seed starting station is that you don't have to rely on going to the nursery to pick up your, immature baby plants and wondering, were these treated with fertilizers and things like that. I've heard of some gardeners having a problem when they transplant those vegetables because they were fed so much fertilizer to grow quickly. They kind of have a lag stage after you plant them because their system was so used to having so much fertilizer. So that's just an anecdote that I've heard. I haven't had the chance to plant my own plants that have started from seed yet, so that's something that I'm definitely going to be paying attention to this year, because in the past I just started with two 4x8 foot raised garden beds and bought the plants from the nursery because I didn't have a seed starting station. I didn't have the time, energy, money to put into it. We were living in a small suburban home. So now that we've moved to our new house and we have the space and I'm starting my new garden, number one priority was to start the varieties that I wanted. I chose my seeds through a company called Fedco, Fedco. I learned about them from a YouTuber called James Prigioni, the gardening channel with James Prigioni. If you ever see this, James, I love you, and I started my garden because of you, so thanks. What's great about the Fedco seeds is that they're all specific to a northeastern climate. So where I live in western New York, close to like Rochester, Buffalo area, it was the perfect selection for me. I am in zone 6A, so I wanted to pick the varieties that were going to thrive and do the best in my climate. So I went online, I did my research, I looked through all the varieties, I placed my order came in, I set up my seed starting rack, and then the next thing I did before I put a single seed into some soil is I made a list of everything that I had, when I wanted it to be planted, when the seeds were going to germinate at specific temperatures, and I actually made a schedule of what weeks I was going to plant new things, when I was going to plant maybe a second round of things. For example, you'll notice there's a really big difference in the size of some of these tomato plants down here. That's because I planted them in succession. I planted 2 rounds of them so that we're going to be harvesting tomatoes for a longer period of time than if I just planted all of them at the same time and they all matured at the same time. Even though they are indeterminate, so they're going to continue to grow throughout the season until they die back in the fall. It is nice to get a little bit of longevity in when the harvest is going to be ready, when things are going to be ripe. So you probably think I'm nuts because look at all these tomatoes. My husband's like, what are you doing with all of these tomatoes? I love tomatoes. I will just go pick them right off the vine and I will eat them like an apple. I love them. In the past, I've had difficulty with blight, which if you've ever grown tomatoes, you know is a really serious issue. Thankfully, I've moved to a new location, so I'm hoping that that isn't as much of an issue this year as it has been for me in the past, but it is something that I definitely paid attention to when I was picking out my varieties for my tomatoes. And I am going to have a whole video on all the different varieties that I chose and maybe specific reasons why I chose different things if you guys are interested. But for now, I'll just leave it at there's 2 different varieties of cherry tomatoes down here, and there's 2 varieties of slicing tomatoes. So my tomatoes are all down here. So like I said, I bought my seeds. I did my research, number 1. Number 2, I bought my seeds. Number 3, I set up my seed starting station. And number 4, I started putting seeds in the soil, and it was so exciting. Let me tell you, every day you come down here and you pull it out and you look and see, has anything started? Has anything, popping up out of the soil? It's just so much fun. I don't have kids myself, but if you have kids, they're gonna love it because it's just so exciting every day, something new. And if you're doing it on a schedule like I am, every week there's something different. So it's really a fun way to get into gardening. Maybe even if gardening isn't your cup of tea, I try and always look at it like an experiment, and it's exciting. I try to log everything. I'm kind of like a scientist at heart. So maybe that works for you, maybe it doesn't. It works for me. So I also have up here, I have some onions, hot peppers. I've got more tomatoes, eggplants, basil, arugula, lettuce, more hot peppers. I've got catnip, more tomatoes. These are 2 different varieties of flowers that I'm growing for pollinators. And then up here I have zucchini, squash, 2 different varieties of peppers, and some more hot peppers as well. So like I said, the most important thing is choosing the variety that's going to do best in your hardiness zone, in your climate, and even your microclimate. 20 miles from here might be the same hardiness zone, but maybe at your house you get more rain than your neighbors do 20 miles away, depending on where you're located, next to a body of water or something like that. So keep that in mind. It's something that probably should be the number 1 priority on your list before you even think about buying something, is finding what is going to work best for me so that you can be successful. I've also heard people ask me around, ask somebody who's a farmer and say, what grows like a weed here? What can you not kill? Like for me, it's cucumbers. If I could just throw a cucumber seed on the ground and cucumbers will just appear. And I don't even really like cucumbers that much, but I told my husband I always grow them to prove to myself that I can grow something because it makes me feel good. So don't be afraid to grow something just for fun and give it away, give it to your pets, compost it, whatever, just to give yourself a little ego boost that you know that you can grow something. So really looking forward to getting these outside and in the ground. One issue that I've had this year is that it's the middle of May and it snowed for the past 3 days. So in my schedule and my plan, I had planned to move a lot of these things outside, or at least into my sunroom, because I knew that the temperature, would be a little bit warmer in the sunroom. And that has not really happened, maybe with a couple different varieties, some spinach and things that can do well in cold weather, but pretty much everything else has remained down here. It's about 60 degrees, give or take, down here, and I thought that I might have some issues germinating some seeds that like higher temperatures, such as eggplant, hot peppers, things like that. But I haven't had any issues. It seems that as the weather has gotten warmer, it's definitely getting warmer down here and things are growing a little bit faster. But as far as germination, I've been really successful. I do keep a log of everything that germinates, when it germinates, what my success rate is. My seeds come with a germination rate on them of a certain percentage, and if they have, I believe, lower than 80%, they give you extra seed. So just all things to consider, all things to bring into your one nice grow rack, and hopefully all of these will be moved outside soon. And I don't think it's ever too late to start your own seed starting station, because my plan after everything moves out is just to always have lettuce and arugula growing down here, because it's easy to grow. I can use it all the time. It's not going to bolt in the warmer weather of the summer. And I already have all this set up, so why not? So if you're thinking, oh shoot, it's already May, I haven't started anything, grab your seed station now, get it set up, grow some greens or something down in here, and then as the summer progresses, maybe switch it to some vegetables that are going to be cold hardy, start them inside, put them in the ground in the mid to late summer, and you've got a jump start on your fall vegetables. So it's never too late, even if it's winter time, whenever you're watching this, just get started. That's the hardest thing, is just getting started. and picking your varieties. Sometimes I know it doesn't seem very fun, but it is so, so, so important. And how cool are you gonna be when you roll into your farmer's market and you've got pink tie-dye tomatoes and purple tomatoes like I have. You know, people are really gonna enjoy looking at a different variety of produce than they've never seen before, even if you're not selling it, even if you're just giving it to neighbors, eating it at home. You know, your food, the very first thing you taste, it's really with your eyes. It's how beautiful it is. So make it beautiful, make it your own. I'm growing some black apples outside, black Oxford apples, which I think are super cool. And just have fun with it, you guys. Don't let your expectations be super high. I tell my husband, I assume nothing is gonna grow, and then whatever grows is like a miracle. And you know, I fully expect to spend the same amount of money next year as I did this year to get started, and that way if I spend less, I'm gonna be happy. So make it fun for yourself, make it fun for your family, and just start getting your hands in the soil so that you can, you know, in times of crisis like these, not have to depend on the grocery store, not have to depend on going out somewhere to have your own food. It's really a wonderful feeling when you grab that plate and you look down, you stick your fork in your own carrot or whatever. It's a really, really wonderful thing, and to know that you grew it on your own, to know exactly what went into the soil, it's something that everybody should experience, in my opinion. And again, I'm no expert. I never ever gardened until about 3-4 years ago. So everything that I've learned, I've picked up from other people, and I just really wanted to share what I've learned with everyone else. So hopefully you found some good tips in this video, and it hasn't gone on too long. I'm new at this, so please be forgiving. But if you have any questions, please let me know below. I would be more than happy to do my best to answer them. Thank you so much. Good luck to you and your family. Good luck gardening, and I hope everybody is safe and healthy.